Okay, so I have the privilege to conclude this second day, and I would like to tell you that I am extremely impressed by what I have heard today. The energy which is visible in this room is really very encouraging for what we have to do as a FIWARE Foundation. I have heard all the day, provided the FIWARE Foundation can continue this, can continue that, I can tell you we have been listening to that, and when I hear, like the last speaker, that already in progress is a connection between the context broker of FIWARE and LoRa in France, I am just telling me exactly what we need. So what I would like to do by closing this second day is to give you the direction we shall be taking in the FIWARE Foundation in the next few months. Just for everyone to understand, you realize that the regime of FIWARE is changing from a situation where it was a very large project driven by the European Commission. We are coming into a situation where, like the young child which is now going to the open world, we have to survive from our side without getting a new blood every morning. I'm sure by now you have all understood that. What the FIWARE Foundation, and especially the 4 members which are creating the partner in the first place, have decided is to really extend the market target from what was primarily at the beginning smart cities into agri-food and into manufacturing and smart industry. Today, we have had excellent demonstration that in these 3 domains, a lot of activity was already taking place. So let me summarize what we have heard today by saying first that when it comes to smart city, by far the most mature portion of our work, we have already got into the complete cycle, maybe not the final one, but you remember that in the first place, many of the towns were insisting that they were willing to go for open data. If you go for open data, you simply give your data to someone else, and what is remaining for the town in order to create new services is questionable. From there, we are now going to real-time open data, which is more to have access to data through open APIs. And this is really the point. We are now going to the economy of data. The cities recognize that they have valuable assets through data and willing to use those assets to create the opportunities of services which will be facilitating the life of their citizens. From there, because of Open Agile Smart Cities, we have already reached more than 100 cities in 23 countries. Here, we are talking about common APIs, we are talking about standard model, we are talking about city software development kit, and all these kind of things. This is probably the most mature part of our business. We are very happy to say that soon we will have very many towns officially joining as partner the foundation, obviously Malaga. I have received positive letter from the city of Vienna. We had a lady from Austria, so the city of Vienna will also join. There will be also many other cities to join. And we are very pleased that TM Forum, which I happen to know from the time I was in charge of telecom in my old days, is now interested to get into this IoT because we believe TM Forum has a very large reach. And obviously, if TM Forum is already able to group many towns, that will bring us all kind of possibility. I'm also very glad to have seen today that NIST, which is a very important institution in the US, has decided to get interested into FIWARE as a major contributor for shared IoT-enabled smart city framework. We have been discussing with the representative of NIST, and we hope to have some kind of common conference soon in the US to further develop this idea. So I would say the most mature part of FIWARE already well in progress. The next one has been around agri-food. Agri-food, as we all understand, and the panel of this morning was extremely interesting, is hitting an extremely critical part of our day-to-day life. We all remember that safe and healthy food is becoming a normal situation in Europe, but you have probably all seen in the newspaper that in China, getting milk is becoming an issue, because sometimes in the milk you have some plaster, and if you got plaster to your baby, it does not go any good in their stomach. So safe and healthy food is about, obviously, traceability. Resilient farmer. This is probably one of the most difficult challenge that farmers have today. As we know, farmers have an impossible life, spending long hours to grow some cattle and to have some harvest. And in the meantime, they are having all kind of capability to get all kind of data that some large companies, either creating seeds or other companies creating precision farming, would be very happy to take on their behalf. That needs to be organized through an economy of data for agri-food, and all that is also something that FIWARE can help. So obviously, we do have a long tradition in farming, in sharing data in cooperative, but all that needs to be organized with a part of the population which is sometimes seems to be very conservative, while if you look now at what is a tractor, it's an impressive set of sensors, and it is an impressive set of technology. So really, in agri-food, we know that there is an extremely important possibilities, and I would say it was very well summarized by our panelists this morning. Some part of the world are willing to grow the kind of productivity in agriculture, whatever it may take. Other parts are saying we cannot do that at the expenses of scarce resources like soil, like water, and so on. And obviously, getting the data and getting the understanding of what's going on through analytics is an extremely important element of what we have to do. I would like to insist on the third part of the market we want to target. It was not an obvious market in the first place, simply because FIWARE has been born in an environment which was an environment of startup. And obviously, when you are dealing like what we do jointly with Siemens and Atos, with 4,000 heavy equipment like windmills, like scanner all over the world, connected to 3 data centers in the 3 continents, obviously it begins to be very, very serious matter. However, what is important to be known by all of you is that in order for industry to reap the benefit of Industry 4.0, all these questions of IoT have to be solved very much in the way FIWARE has been working, which is by giving open APIs, because as we have discussed during the panel, if we do not have this open API, it will be impossible to answer this question of multi-homing. We are confronted, which is a positive confrontation, in a big battle between huge players in the United States, General Electric with Predix, huge players in Europe, Siemens with MindSphere, and the world has to get organized for these 2 big titans to make able to have industrial data platform, while some commonalities has to be organized. I reused the word of Gernot this morning, lifestyle as a service, to say we all understand now that in order to create the next generation of products, the next generation of service, we need to mix all kinds of data. The production data coming from PLM, the usage data coming from the IoT, and, very important, the customer experience data. If we cannot mix those data, we know how it will finish. The winner will be the one which are able to get maximum customer data, and you know who they are. They are called the GAFA, okay? So we need to understand that, and we need to understand that in order to get all these data together, we need to have open API, and typically FIWARE could be one of these instruments to get these open API. As we have seen during the panel, there has been an initiative in Germany called Industrial Data Space, which is now probably 1.5 or 2 years old, which we are trying to elevate at the European level. And the Industrial Data Space initiative is to organize the industrial data in such a way that they can be shared, be it on metadata on those industrial data, be it by sharing the IoT. So all that is something on which we are currently working with Industrial Data Space Association in Germany. And we expect to have a very solid proposal to give to the European Commission probably in the middle of this year, jointly between FIWARE Foundation, Fraunhofer Institute, Industrial Data Space Association, and probably many other players. I would like to insist as well on the fact that while we are working on what we can call the middleware between the analytics and the IoT, there are a lot of progress in specifically the connectivity. So new standards like OPC UA are now coming everywhere in the industry. So clearly we see that when it comes to the very final miles or centimeters between the gateway and the sensor, OPC UA will become probably the standard, but this is absolutely not changing what is needed in terms of what I was mentioning before for this commonality in IoT. As we have said before, we will be always extremely attentive to make sure that everything we provide to you have been functionally tested and stress tested. We will continue to use the Fraunhofer focus to help us to do those stress tests as they are already done. And therefore, when it will come, it will have two stamps, the one of the FIWARE Foundation functionality and the one of the Fraunhofer focus for the stress test. And finally, I heard this morning something both from Siemens, from the Industrial Data Space Association. We do need to have a clear message for the benefit of FIWARE for the industry. Again, we mentioned that before. The industry does not want open data, that's for sure. The industry very well begin to understand the economy of industrial data platform. So we need to bring together these ideas of open API for the industry. And we will be working on that. Now, I would like to say I have been impressed by the first thing, but I have been extremely impressed by the panel about going global. Because obviously, here it is clear that beyond European countries, many other countries have decided to go into that direction. I think it is important. I want to really say my really enthusiasm to see that Japan is interested about FIWARE, that what you have done in Santander you would like to replicate in Tokyo. I am also extremely interested to see that NIST wants to go there, that Mexico wants to go there, that Brazil wants to go there, that Africa wants to go there. What is important to be said, we will be obviously covering an immense ground with limited capability. What I have heard today is interesting. For instance, I was hearing the representative of Morocco saying we would like to see Orange and Atos, which are very well installed in Morocco and Senegal, to help us. Obviously, the answer is yes. I have heard also that in the US, in Mexico, in Brazil, Telefonica and engineering are very well installed. Again, yes, we can help you, but beyond what is simply the FIWARE Foundation. Interestingly enough as well is what you have said regarding the FIWARE lab node and the FIWARE instances. We were discussing with peers at lunch that European Commission is about to launch innovation hubs. We are extremely interested to reuse the FIWARE lab network as a basis of innovation hub for digitizing European industry. So together with EIT Digital and with Fraunhofer and other partners, we will be pushing a proposal in order to use what you have created in Austria, in Mexico, in Brazil, in Germany, to be the basis of this innovation hub. FIWARE Accelerator Panel, again, an extremely interesting initiative of the European Commission. Obviously, here we are getting at the border between the technical support and the VC support. I do not commit that the FIWARE Foundation can have shares in many startups because it is not our responsibility, but I see a time, if we succeed all together, where all kinds of VC funds would be interested to have a label of the FIWARE Foundation to say this startup is having something which we cannot fund because we do not have the money, but which is representing an interesting reinforcement of what is the specificity of FIWARE. So as you know, in our very financial world, sometimes a label is more worth than millions of dollars. And that thing is something I am thinking we can also support. So just to conclude, and a little bit late, I would like to thank you all. You know that in the way the bylaw of the FIWARE Foundation has been created, after many discussions between the partners, is a very subtle balance between the direction the 4 large companies, which are the initial partners, need in order to make FIWARE a good success in their various markets. That has to be balanced with the fantastic momentum you guys are bringing together with all the ideas you have. So that has been very finely fine-tuned. We have been trying to get the best of what exists in other foundations. So our bylaws have been very close to the one of OpenStack, which is meaning that we want to have both the plus of having the energy of the startup, having the energy of all the organization you represent, but we do not want that this energy is wasted in market and in direction which we believe will have enormous difficulty to succeed. So our responsibility is to embark you into the market which we know will be the one which will be pulling in the next 4 to 5 years. So please follow what the FIWARE Foundation is saying, and we guarantee to you that you will not be going in the dead end at the final time when you have made all these efforts. So thank you all, and see you tomorrow for those of you who will be there tomorrow.
So, thank you very much, Hubert. And ladies and gentlemen, who could have done the summary of the day better than the chairman of the board of directors? Hubert, thank you very much. That's it nearly for the day. Few comments. Although we are in Malaga, it's raining outside. So stay with us for the evening. And although it says cocktail and music, of course, food will be served. So you not only have to drink, you have to eat. Yeah? And use the opportunity to increase your network, meet new people, and simply have a nice evening. I can only thank you for your participation today. It's been quite a long day, and the day will last for another few hours. But anyhow, Juanjo mentioned it already. We will start again tomorrow morning at 9:30 with the topic of the new FIWARE marketplace. So to bring all the good things that have been created here to the market, to the publicity. And I'm looking forward to meet all of you again tomorrow morning, and again, have a nice evening. Thank you very much.